Happy hump day to everybody. It is Wednesday the 28th of August. I hope you're all safe and well wherever you are. Interesting tweet here by BBC Weather Scotland showing that the excessive August rainfall has helped contribute to parts of Western Scotland seeing its wettest summer on record. Achnagar recorded its wettest summer on record with 2.5 feet of rain, and several other sites have seen either their second or third wettest summer, which is fascinating stuff, actually. I suppose it caught me a little bit by surprise, this, but they go on to say in the thread that Achnagar has seen 785.4 millimeters rain, which is 165% of normal estimated. Wettest on record previously was 2017 with 727.4. Records go back here to 1967. Kinloch U, 541.6, which is 154 above average. Second wettest summer behind 2019 with 557.4. Records here go back to 1953. Tindrum, 611, which is 146% of average. The third wettest on record. Stornoway, 317.6, 140% of average. The third wettest on record here. Now, what is quite interesting here about this is how the summer has changed with time. Now, the one take home has been the big ridge planked over the central North Atlantic. Anomalous warm waters has been likely feeding back on the atmosphere to help keep that ridge anchored in place like a stone in a river, and the flow going around it. Generally, during the month of June, July, we've had more of a west-northwest flow. But during the second half of summer, the pattern has changed. The main ridge over Europe, has shifted westwards here, likely as the West African monsoon has gotten going. It's shifted and allowed the ridge to the north to get pulled westwards along with that active trough. But then in turn what's happened is we've allowed the upper air pattern to change from the region being focused in the east, negative and troughiness to the west. As that ridge has then pulled westwards, we've built the heat over Iberia and France, extended into the southern UK, but we've in turn deepened the negative or the Icelandic low between Scotland and Iceland. And essentially this has been shutting the door to any heat coming from Iberia and France up into the UK from reaching Scotland and even Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland. But we've had a general distinct north-south divide. In terms of rainfall distribution, we actually seen the wettest conditions during the early portions of summer across more south and east. Now it's shifted more towards the west and north. And this has been a very, very interesting month of August here. We've seen excessive rainfall in parts of southern and western Scotland. And a big contrast, by the way, east to west. I live in a bit of a rain shadow here in Easter Ross. The mountains to the west essentially kind of cutting off that supply of moisture. So therefore, we've barely hit 100 millimeters of rain. But incidentally, this was another interesting tweet. So you think the 75.4 millimeters is significant. It is. It's the wettest on record in terms of summer for Achnagar, traditionally wet area of the British Isles. But watch this here. This was a tweet here that was put out this afternoon by Dr. Eddie Graham, based in Stornoway, and he showed this tweet. This is amazing. Alt Derg House in Skye has seen nearly 700 millimeters of rain, which is 28 inches, by the way, fall in just August. So I asked the question, this has got to be a record or near a record. And thankfully, Aidan McGivern of the Met Office responded to that. And he said that the previous record, he believes, now let me just get this here. He says the previous record for this location, Alt Derg House in Skye, was back in 2019 of 558.8 millimeters. So there's nearly 700 millimeters of rain has fallen in the month of August alone and it looks as if the record has been blown away. If this is correct, and I'm sure it is, and I appreciate Aidan responding to my question with that. So pretty interesting stuff, and it's going to be interesting when all the stats come together. We've had 12 named storms. The storm season for the UK goes from September to September. That's the most since the Met Office started naming storms back in 2015. And it also looks as if this will be the coolest June, July, August combined, the first below average summer since the same year, 2015. So we're rounding summer up, rather unsettled. The good news, however, is that higher pressure looks to become more dominant as we move into the month of September, and this is the rainfall of the CFSV2 for week 1. So this is the period between the 20th today and the 4th of September. Very dry anomaly actually here in the week 2. Again, holding on to the dry anomaly. Notice here that Iberia is turning wetter, and the reasons for that is we're going to see a cut-off low getting pushed south as heights really start to build further north. Then it looks as if we've got a slightly wetter signal developing towards the middle portions of September. Let's have a look and see what the height field is looking like in terms of 500 millibars and show you what that's looking like. So this is the upcoming 7 days. We're actually building the core of strongest heights to the east of the British Isles. Bit of a Scandi block developing here. If only it was winter, right? Then we've got week 2. You can see here that we still have that strong ridge. And as I've said in recent videos, we're starting to see that the belt of high pressure within the subtropics build northwards. We're shrinking the trough and low pressure over the Arctic region, and this may be forced due to the phase 4 or 5 of the MJO, but we're starting to see the high pressure really build north, probably the most northerly it's been all summer with regards to the northward position, not just across the North Atlantic and Europe, by the way, but across the entire hemisphere. We're seeing this northward pull of the high and the shrinking of the trough over the Arctic region here. But a drier, more high pressure dominated start to September looks to be very, very likely indeed. And this is coming on the back of a super wet August, especially across northwestern areas. Drier the further south and east you go. And it's really been a summer where the rainfall distribution has really flipped on its head. Real quick, let's have a look at the latest of the GFS model here for the overview: precipitation, cloud, temperature and pressure. This is the current situation. We can start to see the high building to the east of the British Isles, area of low pressure at 992 millibars just to the south of Iceland, another area of high pressure, bang slap over the central North Atlantic. Play through this loop here, you notice that high starts to hook up with the Scandi high as well. We're starting to see heights come up in this general region right here, and as we play into the latter half of this week and into the weekend, we've got a nice 1027, 1028 millibar high, almost bang slap over the UK and Ireland. Under clear skies and light winds, by the way, the temperatures are going to come down at night time. And during the course of the day, with the incoming solar radiation, and once that cloud starts to kind of dissipate as the high becomes more established, we should start to see reasonably warm, pleasant days and then fresh, cool nights. Then as we play all the way into the upcoming weekend, you notice here the core of the high shifts towards Iceland. Got a frontal system trying to move in from the east. That may have a bit of a hard time penetrating that high, but you notice that the low seen by the GFS does start to break the high down. Then we see more higher pressure building in, extending from to the north of the Azores all the way across northern Europe here. So it looks as if higher pressure is definitely going to become the dominant player as we move into the month of September. In terms of temperature-wise, let's have a look at the latest GFS to 850 millibar temperatures, because it's all dependent on the position of the high, of course. But there's that cool fresh air that we've got going as we press through Thursday into Friday here. We've got the high in place, not overly warm, but you notice here that we're starting to warm the 850 levels. And we're also talking about some warmer conditions from Europe trying to lift into the southeast of the UK here. As the centre of high pressure, the core then focuses over Scandinavia. Any heat over Central Europe will try and drift underneath that high towards the southern UK and possibly even into more northern areas of the UK. But notice here that area of low pressure kind of edging in to the UK and Ireland, essentially, like has been the story all summer long. It kind of shuts the door to any of that warmth moving further north and westwards over the UK. That area of low pressure moves through. This is one GFS model run, of course, and there's going to be fluctuations. But then you notice here towards Friday the 6th of September, long way out, fantasy land, of course. But you notice here that we are starting to flirt with something a little bit warmer. So we'll watch this space. But the take home, drier and more settled as we move into the month of September on the back of what has been a record wet August and a record wet summer for particularly the northern UK. Stay tuned, like, share and subscribe. There will be a tropical outlook released later this evening, so stay tuned for that as well. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Bye for now.